podcast. I'll be right.
So on said, I've been faithfully watching your videos for the past 5 days, taking both written and mental notes. To give some context, last week was very challenging. My car's AC broke, I had to drop it off at the dealership and pay for a loaner's car, and then my phone completely stopped working. The repair estimate was over $400 plus tax. I forgot that tax ain't even included in their man's thing. It's crazy.
Yikes.
Needless to say, I felt overwhelmed and frustrated. This week, after consistently watching your content, meditating and visualizing daily, everything shifted. The dealership contacted me and said they would cover the deductible for my AC at no cost, allow me to keep the loaner at no charge, and Apple called me back to let me know my phone would also be repaired for free. If this isn't proof of transforming the inner to create your new outer reality, I don't know what is. I'm beyond grateful for your wisdom in these videos. Thank you for your guidance and inspiration. Shout him out.
Pleasure's all mine, my friend. Cool. So, first things first. Really and truly, the only way you're going to become unstuck is by recognizing the energetic polarity that it attempts to hide. You see, when we're in one state of consciousness, there exists an energetic polarity. For example, masculine, feminine, hot, cold, negative, positive, good, bad, quote unquote. Now, the energetic polarity of being stuck is growing, right? That is the energetic polarity. And until you can enter a frequency where you indicate to the universe that you're growing by having the beliefs that contribute to you growing, the reactions of somebody who's growing, the conviction of somebody who's growing, the expectation of somebody who's growing, the emotionally charged thoughts of someone who's growing, the perception. Oh, I didn't do emotionally charged thoughts actually in the previous section. So emotionally charged thoughts is nothing more than the thoughts that we think with, as you know, it quite clearly states, with emotion behind it. For example, we naturally think to ourselves, fuck, I got no customers. Fuck, I need to get more customers, which is the indication of the fact you don't have customers, which perpetuates you on not having customers. You think to yourself, fuck, I just don't know what's going on, which once again is an indication of some particular degree of frustration that perpetuates more frustration. You think to yourself, why is my business not growing? And you think these things with frustration, irritation, sadness, apathy. And the thing about emotion is that emotion is energy emotion that emits a signal that we call a vibration. That vibration, when it picks up momentum, it becomes a frequency. Frequency is immaterialized reality, and reality is materialized frequency. So emotion is quite literally the beginning stages. I always say it's the largest shareholder of your frequency. So if your emotional state is representative of some particular degree of negativity in combination with your thoughts, that's mental plus emotional energy that leads to creation. And it's about making sure that your emotionally charged thoughts are reflective of you not being stuck, because the very fact of you thinking thoughts that indicate, reflect, or imply. Remember, it's not necessarily going to be as clear as day as, fuck, I'm stuck. That's typically not going to be like that, because that's too direct. And the entity knows that's too direct. So it will get you to have these thoughts that you intertwine with your emotion that reflect, imply, and resonate with the fact that you're stuck. For example, why is my business not growing? I need to get more clients to grow my business. I've been doing this for so long and nothing's changing. That's not directly saying I'm stuck, but you're indicating to the universe things that resonate with a reality of you being stuck. Now, like I said, the energetic polarity of being stuck is growing. So you need to enter a state of consciousness that recognizes that you are growing. But the truth of the matter is, growing within is a prerequisite to growing without. And the issue is you're attempting to outrun your frequency. As I said, you want to see more money come in and more growth in your business before you have given your business more growth within. And that's a real bar, write that down. And the truth is, it's not about growing, it's about having grown. Because the thing is this, we need to transcend time. Time doesn't exist within this third dimensional realm. Time-space constraints only exist within this third dimensional realm, but in order for you to materialize reality, you need to go outside of our limitation. And going outside of our limitations puts you into being outside of time, meaning that if now is the only time that exists, if you're growing, that's an indication that you haven't grown. So you need to enter the state of consciousness of somebody who has grown. How many times have you said to yourself, our business is growing like crazy? That is the first step to entering a state of consciousness that reflects the fact that you have grown. That's an emotionally charged thought. Things that resonate, reflect, and imply. Our business is growing like crazy. Customers have been coming in like crazy. I have more than enough sales. I have more than enough clients. I have more than enough customers. These are things that I say to myself all the time. Hence why I do have an abundance of customers. So it's important that you begin to think thoughts that resonate, reflect, and imply this particular degree of you coming to the realization of catching your thoughts out when your mind is trying to get you to focus on the fact that you're stuck, and injecting these thoughts into your state of consciousness right now, and saturating your mind with these thoughts right now to bring you to the conclusion of entering a state of consciousness of being grown. Because the moment that your frequency reflects grown to the universe, things will just start happening. This is all while you're doing what you're doing. But remember, if you're being less while doing more, you're going to create less. But if you're being more and doing more at the same time, it's going to be beautiful. You need to have the beliefs of somebody you need to have beliefs that contribute to the easy materialization of your business having grown. Your reaction has to be aligned with being grown. Your focus has to reflect on how you have grown. How often do you reflect on how much you've grown? That feels like daydreaming. That feels like just wasting your time. But it's actually doing that aligns you with the state of consciousness and puts you in vibrational resonance with growing even more. How often do you do that? How often do you focus on what you don't have as opposed to what you do have? But ironically, focusing on what you don't have by that scripture will take away even what you do have. But by focusing on what you do have, that is what perpetuates you to have more. Because remember, you can only have what you already have. You can only have what you already have. If you don't already have more sales, more customers, more clients within, then it's never going to happen without. And this is the prerequisite to doing so. This is what some people do unconsciously without even realizing. Your reactions have to reflect that. Your expectations have to reflect that. When you get on a call with somebody, when you go to have a deal with someone, how often do you expect yourself to close them ahead of time? In fact, how often do you say to yourself that they have already been closed? Because when that's in your state of consciousness, then everything else unfolds because you're unfolding. Reality unfolds from you. And if reality unfolds from you, if you're not where you want to be, then that will unfold a reality that you don't want to be in. That's a real bar. Now that the foundations, the wood has been laid, pause, now it's time to get into the more unconscious things that intricately fuck you up without even realizing. If I haven't said it already, make sure you're taking notes and leave them in the comments. But here's the thing. When we're stuck in business, it's very easy for us to unconsciously begin to fall into a pitfall. And that is this. When we're doing something we don't like, and bear in mind, I'm not saying you don't like your business, but it's very frustrating to do the same thing and not see a different result. It's even irritating. It's mind-boggling. Now, the issue is when we're continuously doing something that we feel like we have to do, and it's not giving us any joy because we're not seeing any growth. We become irritated, we become frustrated, and unconsciously we begin to see our business as an obligation. And I always say obligation is the father of resentment. Obligation is an issue for us because it feels like we have no autonomy. It feels like we have to do this thing. We have to do this thing. We're not seeing results. What the fuck is going on? That's what the mind says. It's like, what the fuck is going on? We're not seeing results. What the hell? But then, obligation is the father of resentment. And the thing about resentment is that resentment is a frequency that emits, or it corrupts the frequency of your desired reality. You can have this desired reality to have a certain point in your business where you're making more and your business is growing. But if you're unconsciously resentful towards your business, then there's what I call the 2 M's of the universe. The 2 M's of the universe is first to magnify. So the universe will seek to magnify that particular degree of resentment by making you more resentful. And then it will seek to maintain that resentment. Not because it hates you, but because it likes energetic convenience. It likes energetic equilibrium. It likes the things to make sense. And when things make sense and they're orderly, that is when, and that is how people end up getting perpetually caught up in these cycles. You need to come to the recognition of the fact that you probably do have this unconscious degree of resentment to your business, but the resentment is being projected towards the wrong place, because you have resentment towards your business, but your business is nothing more than a reflection of your frequency. And the only reason that you're resentful towards your business is because you're unsatisfied with your business. But you're unsatisfied with your business, but you're satisfied with yourself. That doesn't make any sense. James Allen often says, men are dissatisfied with their conditions, but satisfied with themselves. And that makes no sense. And this is what you need to come to the recognition of. You need to come to the recognition that you probably have this unconscious degree of resentment towards your business. And that unconscious degree of resentment is an indication that you're not where you want to be. And because it's an indication of the fact that you're not where you want to be, you're not where you are. You need to come to the understanding that the only reason this resentment exists is because you're waiting for reality to give you a different feeling. You're waiting for reality to give you a different feeling. Nah, this different is crazy. I won't even lie.
You really have doctor's handwriting, innit?
I won't even lie. You know, I wrote that one and I just felt ashamed. Like, if my mom saw this.
What's feeling as well? Yeah, feeling's crazy.
Yeah, it's not as bad as this though. This is just.
Just give up.
But the issue is we're waiting for reality, or you're waiting for reality to give you a different feeling. What do I mean? If I dropped a surge of increase, let's say your revenue doubled right now, your profit doubled right now into your business, you'd probably feel amazing, which is an indication to the fact that there's a dependency on reality to make you feel amazing. But reality will only make you feel amazing if it has something to magnify. And if reality has no amazingness to magnify, it's not going to magnify it. Because the moment that you're able to feel amazing, it will magnify that. And then it'll seek to maintain that. But the issue is right now, you're waiting for more sales to give you this illusion. And this is the illusion that people fall into. Let me show you. The illusion that people typically fall within, whether they realize this or not, is making the mistake of thinking that the attainment of your desire, so making more money in your business, securing more deals, more contracts in your business, is going to help you feel a certain way, without realizing that it's actually feeling a certain way that is going to get you your desire. My definition of manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change, when you're good with it and you're good without it. But the only way you can be good with it and good without it is if you begin to cultivate it within. And through cultivating it within, that is the only way you're going to do that. Now you're probably going to say, how do I cultivate it within, Nero? Listen, let me see what I can do for you. Let me grab, outsmarting reality. Amazon bestseller in less than 24 hours in all 3 categories. Been at the top of the charts for 17 weeks.
Jeez. Coming like Drake.
There's some point in here where I give a technique on how to actually cultivate that, because it's important that you're able to cultivate it. Because if you're not able to cultivate it, then that's the moment that you're able to cultivate this state within, then your desire is going to desire you, which is how it should be. So, number 1, clearly define the circumstance, event, or reality that you desire. There must be no confusion about what you want to manifest. Now, typically, this is going to be an increase in your income. Now, you need to make sure that your level of conviction matches your desire. For example, it probably would be very hard for your subconscious mind to conceptualize the idea of you making 10 million a month as a desire if you're currently making 10K a month. That's just too large for your subconscious mind to be able to conceptualize. So choose something that your subconscious mind knows it can attain immediately. And in doing so, you match your desire and conviction. Sit down or lay down until you reach a state of deep relaxation and stillness. Whether this takes 5, 10, 20, or even 40 minutes, it doesn't matter. Being relaxed is mandatory. Imagine a scene that includes someone who cares for you, a friend, a partner, a family member, who recognizes your desire by commenting on it in a natural and personal way. Include physical touch in the scene, a high five, fist bump, a hug, or anything that feels natural with them and intimate. Keep the scene short, focusing only on their comments on your desired reality, materializing and replay again and again in a continuous loop. If imagined vividly, you will naturally begin to feel the emotions you'd experience upon your desired reality. Feel deeply. There's no set time for this practice. The moment you begin to strain, effort, or fatigue, stop immediately. Part 2. Pick a single, simple sentence that you would naturally say to yourself upon your desire materializing. It must be authentic, what you would truly say. What is the feeling you'd experience naturally and exclusively upon your desired reality materializing? Clearly define it. Repeat that sentence in your head continuously throughout the day, feeling what you would feel as if it was already in your reality and saturating it. So, for example, after you do your visualization scene of somebody congratulating you or acknowledging the fact that your business has grown so quickly, hitting the number you desire specifically, then it's about your capability of then throughout the day saturating your mind with the thought that you think upon your business growing quickly. For example, let's say your desire is to hit 300K in a month, then it would be, I knew I'd hit 300K in a month. That's something you would think upon hitting 300K. I didn't think I'd get to 300K this quickly. Extrapolate this to whatever your material number is for your business. But the truth of the matter is, like, if you stay chained up, within the particular paradigm that you're already in terms of how much you already see yourself making, you won't make more unless you're making more within. And that's what you need to come to the realization of, because it's through coming to the understanding that it's the state that creates the desire, not the desire that creates the state. That is the mistake that a lot of people make. You think upon getting more clients, more sales, more customers, you would feel different. But it's actually you not feeling different before that, which is stopping that reality from materializing. Because the moment you're able to feel everything that you feel upon getting it before reality has transformed, then you become in vibrational resonance, or you become in the mental, emotional equivalent of that reality, which then makes it come to you. That is the entire game. Now, here's the thing. I want to make it very clear that brown is a bit risky.
Why?
I think it might leave marks. I think it's a bit risky. Green was cool. One thing I want to make abundantly clear is that typically what happens, whether we realize this or not, is we're unconsciously kept stuck. Yeah, that was just written poorly. Now you guys have made me self-conscious. We're unconsciously held back by previous energetic charges. Now, an energetic charge is nothing more than an emotional charge. What do you mean by that, Nero? Chill. Relax. You're definitely going to get some. You've got a lot in this video, actually. But what typically happens is that we are energetically held back by the charges that we've experienced. For example, the thing that keeps us stuck often, whether we realize this or not, and I kind of touched on this earlier, is disappointment. Is disappointment 2 S's or 1 S? I think it's 1 S and 2 P's.
Yeah.
Oh, we got top spelling bee king over here.
Nah, I'm terrible.
Oh, swear.
I rely on autocorrects, bro.
Typically, based upon the experiences that we've gone through, whether we realize this or not, we've been continuously disappointed. And it's actually this feeling of being disappointed that exists within our subconscious mind that keeps us stuck without realizing. You were disappointed when that deal didn't go right. You were disappointed when you didn't close that client. You were disappointed when you looked at your sales and you saw that nothing had changed. You were disappointed. You've been disappointed so many times that this in of itself has created such a powerful emotional charge to your subconscious that it now exists within the realms of your subconscious, silently playing in the background of the behind the scenes, quietly playing in the background of your reality, emitting a frequency that perpetuates you to be continuously disappointed. What's the opposite of disappointed? What is the opposite of disappointed?
I want to say happy. What? Alabama?
I feel like it's excitement. No. Is it proud?
Probably would be more proud.
Some type of feeling of between happiness, proudness, excitement. Probably there's got to be a word for that. If you get a word, let me know. But either way, the only way that you have to get rid of this is through altering the subconscious mind by producing the energetic opposite of that, which would be, as we just discussed, happy, excitement, and feeling proud. By utilizing your imagination to create these vivid scenes internally. Here's what I want you to do. Every instance to which you've been disappointed and you spoke to a client that you looked like it was going to go absolutely perfect and it didn't, I want you to recreate that scene. Get into a meditative state, recreate that scene, and recreate it in a way that you wish it would have happened. Because if you do that, the mind can't distinguish between reality and imagination if it's vivid enough. And if it's vivid enough, you will feel those emotions. And if you feel those emotions, then what you're going to do is to displace the energetic charge within the subconscious mind that has been calibrated to disappointment and shift it to happy excitement and proudness. And by doing that, you will alchemize that disappointment into those following polarities, which will then allow for your subconscious mind to silently play something else in the background, because it's that unconscious degree of disappointment that is keeping you stuck. And with that being said, that is how to make the universe unstuck your business.
I was flipping through the channels, trying to find someone to listen to while I was getting ready for work. And I went through the channels, and there was the guy yelling and the guy doing this, and I didn't want to listen to that. And then I landed on this channel where this guy was sitting in a chair talking calmly. And he said,
"Today I'm beginning a brand new series, and I'm going to start talking about a teaching that I've entitled, You've Already Got It."
By that time I'd walked back into the bathroom and I was getting ready, and I said, man, that's a stupid name for a study. But I didn't turn the channel, and I just kept listening to it.
That God has already done for you everything that you need done.
And by the end of that half hour, I was hooked.
And so here she offered us some CDs. And it was like, okay, yeah. And my wife listened to them first.
A whole new Bible was opened up to me for seeing what the Bible really was teaching and what I had believed, and the things I was believing were not according to Scripture.
And begin to start looking at everything from a standpoint where it's already accomplished, and you aren't trying to get God to do something, but rather you're just appropriating what He has already provided. That mindset will totally revolutionize the way you receive from God.
And then, passing it on to Mike, saying, you got to listen to this.
This is kind of a miracle for me as well. It shows you how quickly the Lord can deliver you when you're willing just to follow what His Word says and what He says and His Spirit over some legalistic thinking.
The average prophecy that you're going to get in most churches is all about God is going to do something great. There is coming a great move of God. We are going to see something happen. But you never hear people very much talk about what has already happened. And I believe that instead of getting this mindset of trying to obtain victory, it really makes a difference if you understand that through Jesus, we've already obtained victory. It's a done deal.
Yeah, I do. I've already got it. I was blessed in two ways. One, all these things I had been studying in the last, especially in the last few weeks, but 6 months prior, I was getting, I believe that it was God who had her bring that to me, because it was just like He was saying all these things in a little different way than the Word says them, but He was saying the same thing that the Word says. I remember getting this revelation about James chapter 1, where it says about being tossed to and fro like the waves of the sea. And I thought, that is so much me. A double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. It says, let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. And so I just said, you know what? I don't have to focus on two things. I can just focus on that. And when I did that, that's when I learned that I was able to receive from the Lord. That it wasn't Him withholding. I already had it. He wasn't withholding. In other words, God, through Jesus Christ, was not the variable in the situation. It was me. It was my unstable thinking. The Bible says that by Jesus' stripes I was healed.
I am not going to receive another thing that the devil's going to throw at me to keep me in bondage to not receive my healing.
Just drawing this line in the sand saying, nope, it's going no further than this.
That night was a turning point of his healing, because even though we still had to mess with the tumor, it was still just as bad as before. It was just kind of like he didn't look at it anymore as that. He was seeing himself as healed. it was about 2 weeks later, and suddenly we're changing, and I have cut out the same length of the paper towels that we've needed to before to wrap this. And suddenly it's just like we're folding it up, and it's just like, we can cut this much off of the paper towel. We don't need as much to wrap it. And I said, Mike, this is getting smaller.
And I said, well, of course. I said, God's healed me. It's got to get smaller. Nothing else can happen. This might be hard to get a hold of, but I just forgot about it. You know, even though I would deal with it twice a day or more, dealing with it, you know, having that uncomfortable bra you got to adjust and move around just didn't fit right. And it was gone. You know, I'm healed. I don't care what it looks like on the outside. By Jesus' stripes, I was healed. That's it.
All of Andrew's teachings were already confirming the things that Mike had seen in the Word, but it was like a second witness for him that yes, this is the way it is. This is what God said, and it helped him to stand even more on the healing.
I don't know, somewhere around May, I didn't have to wear the bra anymore.
Each time as we're changing it, it's like, Mike, this thing is getting smaller and smaller. It was just like it was shrinking. So it was less and less that we had to deal with until it's a little thing like this, and then he can change it himself, of course, and no longer was wearing the support, and it's just like, this thing is gone.
By August, it was nothing. It was just this little bump, a scar on my chest here. I was made whole by Jesus Christ, and this is the only direction my body can go. Devil, you can't have me. I've already been bought.
For 8 years, Mike Hesh believed and prayed for his healing, with no results. In desperation, he finally drew a line in the sand between the Word of God and his own unstable thinking. He chose to believe the Word, that healing had already been provided by God's grace. Andrew's teaching confirmed and encouraged him, and the malignant tumor disappeared in 7 months. After his healing, Mike felt strongly that there was more he needed to learn about standing firm on the Word of God. He and Caroline sold their home in Tucson and moved to Colorado Springs to attend Charis Bible College. Their journey of grace and freedom has just begun.
Honestly, like after a few days, it was easy for me to do that. But the hardest part was step number 3, which is basically rejecting every single thing in my environment, every single thing in my reality, every single thing on my phone that did not agree with the desire that I wanted. So I basically detached and rejected all the proof that did not match what I actually wanted. I'm talking with experience. This can actually be super difficult because when you're in the midst of getting your desire, when you're taking the action and you don't see the sales coming in, you don't see the increase in your followers, you don't see the likes, or maybe if you're trying to find the love of your life, none of your dates are working out, you know, nobody on Tinder is replying back to you, you go somewhere and there's no conversations to be found, like it's really hard to detach from the outcome because that's when you start to go back to the old feeling. You start to go back to, is this not for me? This isn't working. Why am I even trying to manifest? I'm bad at manifesting. But you really don't want to slip into that place. So for me, every single, that month, that like 30 days between me making $500 a month to $10,000 the very next month, every single day, I saw proof in my reality that did not match the $10,000 month. So what did I do? There were some days where I was like, okay, is this gonna work? But I caught myself. You wanna be consciously aware of what your mind is telling you. When you're consciously aware of what your mind says, the thoughts, the beliefs, the reactions, the actions, it's easier for you to rewrite them and for you to direct them. So if I picked up my phone and I noticed, oh my gosh, my reel didn't go viral, and all of a sudden I have a thought coming up saying, okay, this isn't working, what you're doing isn't working, I would redirect it to saying, that doesn't matter. I already have $10,000. That doesn't matter. That does not mean whether or not I'm on the right path. That proof does not dictate whether or not I'm going to get it because I'm already going to get it. The key, I know I keep saying the key thing, but truly the key thing, once again, about manifestation is it's all about the feeling state. If you can feel in the abundant state right now, it doesn't matter what is happening in your 3D reality. The like, based on universal law, it has to catch up. Everything that you want is going to catch up based on your feeling. But once again, there is sometimes a lack when it comes to your manifestations. That's why overnight you're not going to become a millionaire, because in our 3D reality, it takes time to actually physically manifest. So this is the third thing. Reject every single thing that does not match the desire that you want in your current reality. So these three things, I did this nonstop, religiously, getting clear on exactly what I want, tapping into the feeling state every single moment, every single day, and rejecting the 3D every single time I had a thought, belief, action, reaction that did not match the desire of what I wanted. I redirected. I caught myself in that moment and said, nope, I am not entertaining that belief. I'm not entertaining that thought because it does not match what I want. These are honestly the only three things that I did to literally manifest every single thing that I want to. Because if you do these three things consistently, there is no choice, truly, there's no choice but for your manifestation to show up. It is literally universal law. But the minute that you direct your attention focus from these three things, that's probably why your manifestation isn't showing up. But I hope this really helped you. Let me know in the comments. I love talking about this because manifestation, changing your identity, changing your thought process has truly changed my life so much. So let me know what you want to see on next week's episode. But until then, make sure that you stay unforgettable. Is you are always sending out a signal, whether you think you are or you're not, because once again, we're energetic beings, therefore we're always vibrating in different rates and we're channeled into different frequencies. Okay, so since we are always channeling something to the quantum field, why not channel things that we actually want? Okay, so this is basically, I want to draw and show you how we actually send out that signal and what actually makes up our signal. So our signal is made up of thoughts, and this is basically what you're thinking about the majority of the day and majority of the time. And then it's also made up of emotions and feelings. And this is really, really important because your emotions and feelings, they are the energetic charge. Your emotions, they have different energetic, basically vibration. So you want to know how you're feeling and how, like, you know, what emotion you're experiencing. And then it's also your beliefs. And once again, your beliefs are what you believe to be true. And most of the time, your beliefs are deeply rooted in your subconscious brain, which is what I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. Now, one other thing that a lot of people don't talk about is also your actions, and not just your actions, but I'm also going to write over here aligned actions, because once again, you can sit there all day long meditating, being in the feeling state, but if you're not actually taking any action and you're not sending out the movement that the quantum field needs to see in order to bring in the physical reality in the Newtonian world, it's not actually going to happen. Now, all of these things over here make up your vibration and your frequency. Now, the alignment with yourself, your signal to the quantum field, it actually happens when everything is in alignment with the desire that you want. So we want to know, are your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, beliefs, and actions basically in harmony with what you want? Now we're just going to continue with the example of making more money because everybody wants to make more money. So if you're in alignment with the desire and you're sending out that signal, most of the time you're probably sending out the emotion of being happy, of feeling wealthy. Maybe you're feeling very abundant. Maybe you're taking really good action. And that is basically going to, yes, magnetically attract different energy particles to you. Now, as we talked about earlier, those energetic particles, they basically collapse into wave-like possibilities over here. Now, since we know exactly what our desire is and what we want, we're also basically putting out a visual and a vision of what we want. And that is how we collapse the, let me just change this, the wave-like particles into what we want. And that will collapse into making more money because once again, we have the desire and the visual in mind. So the question I always ask myself is like, can we actually create physical matter? Now, since everything already exists, we're not necessarily creating physical matter, but we are just changing its dimensions to actually get, once again, what we want. Because like what I said earlier, every single possibility already exists, right? But when we observe something specific that we want, and in quantum physics, this is called the observer effect, that is when we do collapse it into that specific like reality, version, desire, and goal. Now I'm going to show you the exact thoughts, the emotions, feelings, beliefs, and actions that I shifted into that allowed me to make $10,000 in 1 month right now. But before I do, there's one key thing that I really want you to remember is you are not wishing. Right? You're not wishing for a new life, and you're not even acting. You are actually being. Because once again, I want you to remember the signal that you're sending out is basically calling in the reality where you are a vibrational match for it. Right now, the reason why you're living in the reality that you are is because you're a vibrational match for it. When you're already there, you're not wishing to be there, you're just contently there. So keep that in mind. Like, you're not acting, you're not wishing, you are in that state of beingness. So what I want to get into now is showing you the exact examples of how I made $10,000 in 1 month and the frequency and the signal that I shifted into that allowed me to actually make that happen. So just a reminder, your signal is made up of your thoughts, what you're focusing on, where you're placing your attention on, your emotions and feelings, which is basically your energetic charge, the beliefs, what you believe to be true, and then aligned actions. Because yes, you do have to listen to your intuition and take aligned action to bring that into your physical world. So first of all is your thoughts. When I was only making $500 a month, I was constantly thinking about, oh my gosh, money is so hard to make. I have to pay my bills. Nobody takes me seriously. So I had to shift my focus to think about something else that was actually true if I was already making $10,000, if I was already living in that quantum field reality. So I started to think about, I am so good at what I do. If I was making $10,000, I would be amazing at what I was doing. So many people need my help. That's a big perspective shift, especially if you're like me, you're a business owner, content creator, you're providing a service. There are people waiting to buy my services. If you're an entrepreneur or you sell something, even if you sell like you have like a sales job, you know, a lot of there's kind of a stigma around people don't want to spend their money. People don't want to buy products, but that couldn't be further from the truth. People love spending their money. So that's something I started to think about. Life is just so good, right? Being in gratitude and truly, genuinely loving your life, that will get you so much, that will honestly help you quantum leap to a completely different level in your life. And then last one, I love spending money because I always make more. Once again, money is energy. It is an energetic exchange. It is fluid. So you don't want to be hoarding all your money. You want to be freely spending it because that is how you're actually going to be making more. So those are all the thoughts. And now I want to get into the emotions and the feelings. So once again, these are the most energetic charge that you are going to be sending out as a signal. So first one, genuinely loving the process of my work. A lot of the times, this doesn't even have to do with money, but a lot of the times when we want something like a goal, desire, we really want it badly, we forget about the process. We just want to be at the end result. So for me, I fell back in love with the process of marketing, the process of creation, the process of really serving my clients, really being in my work, not being tapped out and thinking about the future 24/7. Knowing I already have more than enough, going back to gratitude. If you always feel like you're in lack and scarcity, that is the emotion and feeling that once again, you're energetically sending out. And the frequency you might be tapped into is a constant frequency of fear, of lack, of scarcity. You're just always in that channel. Actively being abundant and mindful of my thoughts. A big part of changing your signal is being consciously aware of your subconscious mind, right? So if every single day you sit down and you have these automatic programs and thoughts flushing through your mind and they are not in alignment with your goal and desire, if you're not consciously aware of them, it's going to be really hard to shift them. So actively being abundant, because your thoughts, they create emotion. So if you're allowing your thoughts to just run wild, that is what is triggering the emotion of, once again, fear, doubt, lack, and scarcity in your life. And then lastly, growth versus lack mindset, right? So this kind of goes like hand in hand with everything else. If you are not really focused on expansion, if you're not growing, if you always have like a small mindset about things, you're not taking risks, you're not taking opportunities, that will always keep you in the same exact place and bubble that you're at. And then we have beliefs, which is a really, really good one, because beliefs are deeply rooted in your subconscious brain. And sometimes you don't even realize that they're there. But the beliefs that I had is every dollar I spend comes back to me times 10. I grew up in a household where my father always told me, save your money. Money doesn't grow on trees. So of course, as I grew older, I never wanted to spend my money because I always thought like I would run out or something. So for me now, every single time I spend my money, I repeat this in my mind. Every dollar I spend comes back to me times 10 because it's true. Every belief that you want to believe can be true for you. You just have to actually believe in it. People have more than enough money to pay me. More than enough. And that is true. If I focus on that, I will energetically attract people that once again have more than enough money to pay me. There is an unlimited amount of money. Now, just by watching this video, you know that is fact. You know that is true because money is just energy. Therefore, there is more than enough to go around, and there is more than enough for everybody to be rich, okay? Your subconscious mind. So I want to talk about how we influence the quantum field with our subconscious brain. Now, I want to make clear, particles do not consciously choose outcomes and create outcomes. They basically collapse. Once again, they go from energy particle to wave-like possibility, collapse into a specific event based on energetic exchange. And the exchange is happening with us. So in other terms, it's not just the conscious thoughts and actions that we're sending out, it's the deeply rooted subconscious beliefs that are basically, once again, running our life. That is what is connecting to the particles so much more than our conscious beliefs. So that's why I always say it's like someone can affirm all day, every day, I am rich, I'm abundant, I'm a millionaire. But if deep down you believe it's really hard for you to make money, the stronger frequency always wins. And the stronger frequency is always your subconscious mind. And the reason why this is because of your depth of programming. Most of the time, your subconscious beliefs, they have been rooted for you for like decades. A lot of our beliefs started when we were kids in our childhood. And that's what I just mentioned earlier. I was raised to believe money doesn't grow on trees. Money, you have to work really hard to make money. Like you have to save all your money, otherwise you're gonna run out. So of course, those are the beliefs that were instilled into me. But in order for me to quantum leap, live a different reality, I have to reprogram those beliefs. Now that goes way beyond this video because in this one, I really wanted to show you how we energetically connect with the quantum field, but I'm already ahead of you because my next video is gonna be how to actually heavily, deeply reprogram your subconscious mind. So
preparing to tune in. This meditation requires a little advanced preparation. First, I want you to think about a potential experience you want to have. Remember that just like the electron before it collapses into matter, the experience already exists as an energy or a frequency in the quantum field. This is the energy that you're about to tune into. Some of our students have lowered their cholesterol levels just by tuning into a potential. They've lowered their cancer markers. They've made tumors disappear. They've also created great new jobs, all expenses paid vacations, new healthy relationships, more money, profoundly mystical experiences, and even winning lottery tickets. Believe me, my team and I have seen it all, so go ahead, step into the unknown. Once you have the new experience you want to create, assign a capital letter to it, and then write that letter down on a piece of paper. Think of the letter as a symbol that represents that specific possibility in your life. Actually putting it on paper instead of only thinking about it is important because the act of writing it down solidifies that you want it. Then draw 2 squiggly circular lines around the letter to represent the electromagnetic field you need to generate around your body to match that potential in the quantum. Now assign some meaning to that letter so you can get even clearer about your intention. Think of some specific refinements of what you want and list at least 4 of them. The only thing I don't want you to consider including is any mention of a time frame. For example, if your intention is a great job, your list might look like this. Making $50,000 a year more than I'm making now. Managing my own team of awesome professionals, traveling all over the world, on a generous expense account, having exceptional health benefits and great stock options, making a difference in the world. Now on that same piece of paper, write down the emotions you will feel when that imagined potential happens. You might write, empowered, unlimited, grateful, free, in awe, in love with life, joyful, worthy. Whatever it is for you, write it down. And if you think you won't know how it's going to feel because you haven't experienced it yet, then try gratitude. That works really well. Gratitude is a powerful emotion to use for manifesting, because normally we feel gratitude after we receive something. So the emotional signature of gratitude means it has already happened. When you are thankful or you feel appreciation, you are in the ultimate state to receive. When you embrace gratitude, your body, as the unconscious mind, will begin to believe it is in that future reality in the present moment. These various emotions you just listed are the energy that is going to carry your intent. This is not an intellectual process. It's a visceral one. You have to really feel those emotions. You have to teach your body emotionally what that future is going to feel like before it happens. And you have to do that in the present moment. Now you're ready for the meditation. You can purchase the Tuning Into New Potentials CD or MP3 download from drjoedispenza.com and follow along as I guide you, or you can choose to do the meditation on your own. Tuning Into New Potentials meditation. Start by resting your attention in different parts of your body, as well as the space around those parts of your body. You will learn more about doing this and why it's important in the next chapter. But for now, it's enough to know that focusing on the space around your body helps change your brainwaves, moving you from an incoherent beta brainwave pattern to a coherent alpha and theta brainwave pattern. Become aware of the infinite vast space way out behind your eyes in this eternal black space, the space in the center of your head, the space between the back of your throat and the back of your head, and then beyond your head in space. Then move to becoming aware of the space in the center of your throat, the space beyond your throat and around your neck, the space in the center of your chest, the space around your body, the space behind your navel, and finally the space around your hips, in this endless black void. With each of these, take your time and feel it, become aware of it, and stay present with it. Become aware of the vastness of space that the room you're in occupies in space, and then extend your awareness to the vastness of space beyond the room in space, and finally to the vastness of space that all of space occupies in space. Now it's time to take your attention off your body, the environment, and time, and to become no body, no one, no thing, nowhere, in no time, to become pure consciousness, to unfold as an awareness into this infinite black space and endless field where all possibilities exist. If you get distracted, simply return to the present moment, as we discussed in the previous chapter. Keep unfolding into this immaterial space by continuously reinvesting your attention into it. Think about the potential that already exists in the quantum field that you want to tune into by remembering your letter. Sense the energy of that future potential within you and all around you, and tune into your future. When you do this, you will be moving into a new state of being, broadcasting a whole new electromagnetic signature into the field. When there's a vibrational match between your energy and that potential, the new event is going to find you. You don't have to make anything happen. I want to be clear here. It might take more than a few meditations for your future opportunity to unfold. It could happen in a week, a month, or even longer. The key is to keep doing it until it occurs. Once you are in a new state of being, broadcasting a new electromagnetic signature, now remember your future before it happens, and begin to mentally rehearse what that future will be like by living in that future. Make it as real as possible, calling up those elevated emotions you listed so you can teach your body emotionally what that future feels like. Surrender your creation to a greater mind, planting a seed in the infinite field of possibilities, and just let it go. Finally, bless your body with a new mind. Bless your life. Bless your challenges. Bless your soul. Bless your past. and bless your future. Bless the divine in you, and open your heart and give thanks for a new life before it's made manifest. Slowly bring your awareness back to the room, and when you're ready, open your eyes. Get up from your meditation as though your future has already happened, and let the synchronicities and new possibilities find you.
First things first. Now, when it comes to the materialization of a particular desired reality, a lot of people lack one thing in particular. And chances are, whether you realize this or not, if you're lacking this one thing, this is quite literally the epicenter. This is where manifestation begins from. And if you don't have the capability of having this one thing that I'm about to say, then unfortunately, manifestation becomes this vague process that, a lot of people characterize it as. Number one, crystal clear clarity. Now, most people have an idea of what it is that they want. Whenever I talk to people, they have an idea of what they want. For example, they'll say, I want more money. They will say, I want to advance in my career. They would say, I wish to be employed. And even though you have a vague idea, really and truly, a vague idea isn't enough for you to materialize what it is that you want. Once you begin to understand how the universe works, and the universe, perfect. One thing that is a necessity, a prerequisite to any particular degree of manifestation is crystal clear clarity. And the only example that I can give that will make sense of this is if you think about your frequency, whether it's frequency, self-concept, state of consciousness, they're all interchangeable terms for the same thing, state of consciousness, or the exact same thing just said in different ways. And the truth of the matter is, your frequency in of itself, think about it like a unique product code. When you order something online, that product has a unique product code, and that unique product code corresponds with that particular product. And when they ship out in a warehouse, which I've never had the pleasure of working in a warehouse, but AJ recommends that I should just take a shift in a warehouse.
Character building.
Just to experience it once. Now, the warehouse stories are dark and ever random. I got a cousin called King. He says that the warehouse aged him. He said he worked 3 shifts. He said he aged 10 years. But anyways, if you characterize your frequency as a unique product code, it has to be unique, because that will, and this is the thing, think about that unique product as a reality. Now, a multitude of realities exist. We can look at it from the parallel universe concept of an infinite amount of parallel universes. You can look at it from a more ancient Hermetic perspective as the all encompassing all particular frequencies or realities, and that aspect of God or the infinite exists within you. So you have the capability of tapping into all frequencies and all realities. But the reality that you wish to experience is a very specific reality, whether you realize this or not. And that specific reality requires a specific frequency, self-concept, state of consciousness, which is a unique product code, in order for them to correspond. Your product or the universal product is reality. And in order for you to get the right reality, you need to have the corresponding unique product code. The unique product code is your frequency, self-concept, state of consciousness. So when people come to me and they have a rough idea of what it is that they want to materialize, they'll say, I want to make more money. But that's not unique enough, because more money could literally be a cent more than you have. And this sounds extremely facetious, but this is how the universe works. You have to have a degree of specificity for what it is that you wish to materialize, because if there's no degree of specificity, then you will get what you're asking for without even realizing it. For example, if let's say you're making $100 a month. If you make $101, technically your desire has been materialized. That is more money, but that's not what the fuck you want. Let's say you want to advance in your career. Let's say you get given more responsibilities, but it's still not the promotion that you seek to materialize. Then, right? And let's say you do get a particular degree of employment, or you start getting interviews, you're still not there the full way. You have to understand there has to be crystal clear clarity on what it is that you want. And if there is no crystal clear clarity, then the frequency that you emit will not be specific enough to correspond with the reality that the universe will then give you. Because the unfortunate part is, when you have a rough idea of what it is that you want and it's vague, the frequency that you emit to the universe is not clear enough. And because it's not clear enough, the universe doesn't register it. And because the universe doesn't register it, it doesn't materialize. And this is really how it goes. So, chances are you've been wanting to materialize something for quite some time. You've been wanting to manifest more money. You've been wanting to advance in your career. Maybe you want more customers, more sales. Maybe you want a specific job title. Maybe you want a particular person that you wish to materialize, or a relationship, or to mend a friendship, or whatever it is. But unfortunately, if you're lacking specificity, then you're lacking the correspondent frequency. And that's a bar, write that down. Specificity is exactly what will give you the correspondent frequency. It will give you the correspondent frequency, which will give you the correspondent reality. It has to match. It has to match. It literally has to match. Because conceptualize it like this. Let's say you want to buy a kettle. Let's say you want to buy a kettle. And now you go online, or you say you want to buy a kettle. You search kettle. And what comes up when you search for a kettle on Amazon or something? It gives you a bunch of specific products, because your vague idea isn't enough. You're just searching, but it's not specific enough for Amazon to then send you a kettle. You can't just say to Amazon, yo, I want a kettle. It's going to tell you what kettle do you want specifically, because in order for you to receive a product, you need to have specificity. In order for you to receive a reality, you need specificity. Remember, specificity allows you to register a correspondent reality or correspondent frequency to the universe. So back to the example that I was saying. In an instance where you search for a kettle, Amazon says, what kettle do you want? And you say you want a kettle, it just refreshes the page. You say you want a kettle, it just refreshes the page. And this is something that you niggas have to come to a conclusion of. You have to have a degree of specificity behind the frequency that you're emitting, or the universe isn't going to register it, because the frequency that you're emitting won't be clear enough and it won't be strong enough for the universe to then register, for it to then materialize. Go back to that example every single time. I'd like a kettle. What kettle do you want? I'd like a kettle. What kettle do you want? It's going to say, do you want Hobbs? Do you want Smeg? Do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want that? And then when you click on that specific product, and then you order it, then that unique signature is emitted into the warehouse, and the universal storehouse, or the fourth dimension quantum field Akashic records, the temple of God, as it says in Corinthians, or essentially your subconscious mind, your frequency, self-concept, state of consciousness, it will then seek to materialize it. But it can only seek to materialize something that has a degree of specificity behind it. And if there's no crystal clear clarity, then you're not going to be able to materialize it. So instead of thinking to yourself, I want to make more money, how much? Instead of thinking you just want to advance in your career, what is the specific position that you want? Pause. And it all matters. Because if you don't have that degree of specificity, then the universe, the frequency that you emit isn't going to be clear enough for the universe to then interpret and then register and accept and then eventually materialize. Crystal clear clarity is something that people don't even have. And if you don't have crystal clear clarity, then that's almost saying, you want to get to a certain destination, but when you put it in Google Maps, you're not putting the exact location. It's like saying you want to go to London. It's going to say, where do you want to go to London? Or it will literally take you to the entry point of London, which is an entire city, and that's still not enough. So that specificity is something that's needed. And that's something that you have to ask yourself, have I given enough crystal clear clarity? Have you? But further on that point, in fact, I'll just write it.
You're going to ride through the wetness.
Rich is relative, bro. Now, step number 3. So first things first, get crystal clear clarity on what it is that you want. I want to make X amount of money. Make sure that X amount of money matches a particular level of conviction. I want to materialize this career. Make sure that that desire matches that conviction on a 10. I want to manifest this person. Make sure that the concept of you materializing something has been, For example, in the context of dating, I was just thinking about it. Rather than trying to materialize Prince Charming, why don't you materialize just meeting a good individual outside the romantic context? Because even then, that's probably something that your mind has the easier time of seeking to accept. And then that will then give you the confidence that, or conviction that you need to then materialize what it is that you want. Now, the hell is that?
Hey, Shmala.
Detention. Detention after school. Detention after school. Hand over your phone. Detention after school. Step 3. Shift your wants to haves. Now, the mind's going to have a natural tendency to do one thing in particular. It's going to get you to focus on the attainment of what it is that you desire. I need to make X amount of money. I need to get more sales. I need to get somebody. I'm getting old. I need to find somebody. I need to settle down. I need to get this career. I need to advance in my career. I need that promotion. Why don't I have that promotion? I need to make this amount of money. I need to do this. You're now going to be conscious with your mind in recognizing that you need to shift everything that you want to something that you already have. And what do I mean by this? To go back to the example that I was just saying, let's say your mind says, I need to make X amount of money, or I haven't made X amount of money, or I want to make X amount of money. You need to internally alter that thought to reflect the thought that suggests that you already have what it is that you desire. So instead of your mind saying, I need to make X amount of money, you then need to consciously shift your thoughts to represent a thought that suggests that you already have what it is that you desire. So as opposed to thinking to yourself, I need to make X amount of money, when that thought arises, and bear in mind, you can't control your first thought, but you can control your second thought. Extrapolate that to the entirety of life. That's a bar, write that down. You cannot control the first thought that comes to mind, but you can control the second thought. So when the first thought pops up and it says, I need to make X amount of money, I need to get this career, I need to get this career promotion, I need to get into a relationship, you then need to consciously shift your mind from the idea of wanting it to already possessing it by altering it to reflect a thought that you would think upon already attaining it. So for example, I knew I'd make X in a month. Don't ask me what that is. I don't know. As opposed to thinking to yourself, this deal has to close. I need to close this client. Like, this deal has to go through. Alter it. I'm so grateful I've already closed this client. I need to find someone to settle down. The streets are treacherous out here. I'm so grateful to be with this person. Because that's the first step. Because naturally what's going to happen is this. As you're entering a new frequency or a state of consciousness, you're going to have to expect a particular degree of resistance. Now, I don't want you to interpret me saying resistance as difficulty. That's not the same thing. But naturally, you need to think about it like this. The frequency that you've been emitting, or the state of consciousness, the self-concept, or the imagination that has been solidified into your mind in reflection of whatever it is that you want, has taken root there. And now you're bringing something else in. So now you're essentially kicking this thing out of your mind and bringing something else into your mind. So a natural resistance or residue from the old frequency is naturally going to be within your mind. And that old frequency is always going to allow you to thinking thoughts that isolate you from what it is that you want. Something that's always an indication to what you already are missing. Now, here's the thing. This goes into the annoying law of the universe. You can only have what you already have. 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 Please remember that. Now, that might not make a lot of sense to you, but when I say have, I'm not alluding to some type of physical possession. I'm actually referring to vibrational possession, which is the mental and emotional equivalent of seeking to be and attain whatever it is that you want. Once you come to the understanding that when you possess it within, then you possess it without, you're just doing nothing more than shifting everything that you want from what you have. But when those thoughts come into your mind that reflect wanting, you need to shift those to having, because what that is going to do is solidify a new state of consciousness, a new self-concept, a new frequency, and that's going to begin to alter what you've been emitting to the universe. So then the universe is then going to alter what it's been giving you. And this is one of the first steps to consciously altering your reality. But to consciously alter your reality, you have to be conscious. And the only way you can be conscious is if you're rewriting thoughts that you're having right now and shift them to focusing on thoughts that reflect you have what it is that you desire. The next step. So after getting crystal clear clarity on what it is that you want, making sure that your desire matches, then make sure that you've already began to normalize the idea that you already have it through injecting those thoughts into your mind and saturating that with your consciousness. Now, one of the most important and useful things that you can do is this. Emotional generation. Now, why do I say this? People often say that the language of the subconscious mind is repetition, but repetition is a long-winded way of doing things. If you have been through trauma, you only need to go through traumatic events once for your entire mind to be completely changed. Now, trauma is on the particular aspect of negativity, but due to the fact of polarity, the potentiality of the positive aspect of it exists. Trauma, if you really deep trauma, is just an emotionally intense experience that tends to be negative. But if you're able to cultivate emotional intensity, but in a positive side, especially in reflection of your desired reality, then by theory and through science, spiritual science, quote unquote, and having done this and having seen this, this is what happens. So, like I said, the true language of the subconscious mind is emotion. It's not necessarily repetition. And if you have the capability of generating an intense, this guy's taking selfies on his new iPhone. If you have the capability of generating intense degree of emotion behind your desired reality based upon what you would feel upon being in that reality, then you're going to alter your subconscious mind based upon the fact that I said that the subconscious mind has the primary language of emotion. Your subconscious mind will be entirely altered. When your subconscious mind is altered, your frequency will be altered, your state of consciousness will be altered, your self-concept will be altered, then your reality will be altered. Now, when I say emotional generation, don't think that it has to mean euphoria. Don't think that it has to mean excitement. Don't think it has to mean that you're smiling like you've done DMT. It doesn't have to be anything like that. For me, based upon who I am, because this is going to be unique to you, for me, it's just what I call serene confidence. That's me. What would it be for you? Because you are the only one that matters when it comes to materialization of your desired reality. That's a bar, write that down. But if you're able to generate enough emotional intensity behind your desired reality, then what that is going to do is naturally shift you into the state of consciousness of having, which is exactly the point that I was going back. I think that was the third point. Back to the third point. Was that the fourth point? No, this is the fourth point. Yeah, third point. Now, the way that you actually go about doing that, or the way that I go about doing that, and bear in mind, this is what the point that I was referring to earlier when somebody was speaking about techniques. Techniques don't fucking matter. You could literally script, you could literally visualize, you could literally affirm, you can literally do whatever the fuck you want, so long as you have conviction in the capability of this actually being something that works. That is more important. But I'm going to tell you what I do. I'm going to tell you what I get my clients to do. I get my clients and myself to visualize. Now, the visualization process is simple. It has to be simple. It has to be simple. It has to be simple. For the mere fact that a lot of people don't recognize that the mind is a battery. If you imagine every day you are given a certain amount of battery, you have 100%. And the more that you utilize your mind or your imagination, the quicker you drain that battery. We want to utilize as much of that battery efficiently as possible. So when it comes to visualization, a lot of people have these extravagant visualizations where they're overlooking Lake Como and they're with people and it has all of this and they're doing this and they're doing this and they're doing that. That's way too complicated. Way too complicated. Just simply visualize the scene to which somebody that you love is acknowledging, this is definitely spelled wrong, acknowledge, yeah, Yeah, that's definitely spelled wrong. Who gives a fuck? Somebody that you love is acknowledging the materialization of your desired reality. They're seeing it here as something that has already been done. Now, they would comment on it or they might congratulate you. Somebody that you love. So for example, when it comes to making a certain amount of money, it would be somebody that you love congratulating you or acknowledging the fact like, wow, you made 10K in a month, or you made 100K in a month, or you made $1 million in a month, or you made 1,000 in a month. Or it might be somebody complimenting the attainment of that career promotion. I knew you was gonna get that promotion. I knew you was gonna get that promotion. Congratulations on getting that promotion. I'm so proud of you for getting that promotion. It has to have the specificity in the visualization, because that specificity is also in combination with the frequency. Go back to number 1, crystal clear clarity. Crystal clear clarity combined with emotional generation, absolutely amazing. And that's what leads to materialization of a desired reality. Because naturally what's going to happen is this: you're not visualizing to create reality. Visualization doesn't create reality. What creates reality is the internal shift that takes place upon you visualizing. Because naturally what begins to happen when you visualize a scene that you're able to stimulate emotion, which bear in mind, when you visualize somebody acknowledging or commenting or congratulating the materialization of your desired reality, then you want to loop that again and 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 again. And the moment you begin to feel like you're straining, the moment you begin to feel like you're tired or like you're like, that's stop. Because naturally, that particular degree, which bear in mind, one thing that I didn't mention is that before you actually get to visualizing, just relax. It might take you 5 minutes, relax, might take you 10 minutes, might take you 15, might take you 20, might take you 30. Allow yourself for your muscles to feel relaxed. That's it. Don't try to time it. Just when you feel relaxed, start visualizing and loop that scene again and again and again and again. And the moment you begin to feel like you're straining yourself, stop. Because the moment you begin to feel like you're straining yourself, you're then going to attempt to use effort. The moment you use effort, that's when you shift your brainwaves from producing alpha and theta to beta, which is conscious, alert thinking that requires you to be active. And that's when you must shift. But if you do that and it's vivid enough and it's clear enough and it's in combination with somebody that you love and they're hugging you or they're high-fiving you and they're fist bumping you and you feel the emotion that you would feel upon being in that desired reality, then you begin to generate that particular degree of emotional intensity, which in this instance is the energetic polarity of trauma, which is positivity, intense positive emotion in reflection of your desired reality. Then that visualization then leads to a shift in your emotion. That shift in your emotion then leads to a shift in your frequency or state of consciousness, because it has led to a shift in what your subconscious mind has registered as your reality, which then begins to put you in correspondence with the materialization of what it is that you want to materialize. Number 5. So after you began to take whatever process that you wish to take, my recommendation is visualization in the exact same way that I told you, and begin to loop that again and again and again and again and again, and then start once you begin to strain. That's not enough, because then you'll be no different from the people that go to church and they're on their knees for an hour. Pause. And what I mean by that is this: oftentimes a lot of people will pray for prosperity for 1 hour a week and then go spend 12 hours a day in direct opposition to the state of consciousness that they wish to materialize. They pray for prosperity for a short time, but then most of the time they dwell in poverty, which then leads to materialization of more poverty. They pray for relaxation and good times, but they spend the majority of their state of consciousness and their day in bad times. One thing that you need to come to a realization of is think about the visualization itself like a jacket. You put on a jacket. But naturally what happens throughout the day, the more we become unconscious and the more we get caught up in life and whatever else is going on in our day, we slowly begin to take that jacket off and we begin to move like a GTA stripper. You know, you're taking the jacket off, you're like this. And eventually the jacket comes off. But the truth of the matter is that jacket must stay on. But the only way you can keep that jacket on is if you stay conscious of what you've done. So always recommend the visualization in the morning, because then you give yourself the capability of brainwashing yourself before the world brainwashes you. You give yourself the capability of calibrating your frequency before the world calibrates it for you. You give yourself the capability of programming yourself before the world gets to program you. All of that was a bar, write that down. A lot of people try to do their visualizations at the end of the day. That's damage control, because you've already gone through shit. You've already been slapped around by reality. Your emotions have been pulled left, right, center, and then you're trying to do it at the end of the day. No, do it so you enter your day in that state of consciousness, so then your day recognizes you as the individual that you seek to be. Now, it's important that you maintain that frequency. And the way that you go about maintaining that frequency the way that I tell my clients to do it is to pick a single line or a single line of thought that you would think upon manifesting what it is that you want. So, let's say you were in your desired reality and you'd materialized it. What would be a single thought that you would think throughout that particular day? So, for example, if you want to make a certain amount of money, you'd probably think to yourself, geez, making this amount of money is easy. That's something you would think. If you was in a happy, healthy relationship, you'd probably be thinking to yourself, I'm so grateful to be in a happy relationship. I'm so grateful to be in a healthy relationship. If you got that career promotion, you think to yourself, I always knew I'd get this promotion. Whatever line that is, make it unique to you. Pick that single line and throughout the day, saturate your mind with that thought. When you're brushing your teeth, as you're showering, as you're eating lunch, you're taking a bath, you're watching TV, you're spending time with your friends, you're spending time with your family, you're at work, you're at your business. You're saturating your state of consciousness with that one particular line of thinking. Because to go back to what I said, a lot of people make the mistake of being on their knees for an hour, pause. And this is in the context of church. Of course, they're praying for prosperity for that hour, but then they go spend 12 hours in a state of consciousness of poverty, which then can only seek the materialization of poverty. Because the issue is, even spiritual people are no different from religious people in the way that they treat visualizations, affirmation, scripting as an isolated instance. And then they go throughout the day not dwelling in their state of being in the reality that they wish to be in. Hence why it's important that you maintain frequency, or you maintain your self-concept or state of consciousness through picking a single line of thinking that you would think upon materializing what it is that you want, and saturating your mind with that every single second of every single day. And eventually what that is going to do, it is the more that you begin to saturate your state of consciousness with that mentally, the more you keep that jacket on. And eventually that jacket will be worn for so long that it begins to stick to you. And then you won't even be able to take it off. And then that will be your capability in materializing whoever you want, the amount of money that you want, the career that you want, and getting that promotion that you want. The maintenance of frequency is important. Everybody visualizes, but typically what happens is people don't think the things that they would think upon being in that desired reality. So you have to ask yourself, what would I think upon materializing what it is that I want in a very me-like way? And then whatever that line of thinking is, you carry that with you throughout the day, and you saturate your state of consciousness with that again and again and again and again. You literally drum it and inject it into your head again and again and again, and every second of every day. And naturally what's going to happen is, the more that you begin to do that consciously, the more it's going to become part of you.
Start practicing being your best self. And one of the best ways to do that, like I said, close your eyes. You can write it down, you can do whatever. To me, close your eyes and imagine it. Every morning I wake up and I even go on walks sometimes. You don't have to do it like the internet woo-woo way when they be like, oh, cross your feet and meditate. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I put my phone, I put some headphones on, I listen to Cardi, Destroy Lonely, Ken Carson. Any music that makes me feel good, I listen to it. And I'll just dream my reality. I'll dream me driving the Lambo. Right? I dream me making hella money, being excited making hella money. Why? Because in that moment, my mind and my body don't know it's real. So when I'm doing that, it believes that's real, meaning that it becomes normalized. It becomes familiar with that. And what end up happening is, right when I open my eyes, I want that dopamine. I want that feeling that I felt. So guess what? I start taking action. It starts being exciting, because guess what? Success in my body now already feels familiar and fun and good. So if it feels good and familiar and I already lived it before, my body's craving it. Your body craves dopamine, whether it's negative or positive. If you're used to criticizing yourself, judging yourself, your body's gonna crave it every time you see something. Oh my God, let me judge myself. Somebody looking at me, oh damn, he think I'm ugly, right? But when you switch it, your body start craving good dopamine. It start craving the successful dopamine. You know, you felt last night, oh my God, like I got my Lambo now, like I'm working this 6-figure business. Now your body start craving it. You start getting on the work, easy, having fun. You excited to be that person now. Like your body's literally a magnet, and I need people to understand that. That's literally something that I understood as I started going. Every day I would wake up, play some music in my ears, right? Go on walks, watch people. That's another thing I used to do. I used to watch people living a dream that I wanted, and literally what they would do, I would just replace their face with me. Literally, I would replace their face with me watching the video, and I'd be like, that's me. That's me. And you gotta start doing the same thing. Everything I do, I try to do it as the best version of myself. Like I said, your body's a familiar thing. As simple as this, if I put this phone as the best version of myself, when I get up, I'm gonna do it the best version of myself. Meaning when I'm working on my job, when I'm working my job or working on whatever business, I'm gonna do it as the best version of myself. Means already calculating how I can be the best at whatever I do. It's not calculating like a lot of y'all be like, oh my gosh, I don't know if this is gonna work. When you say that, you're calculating how it's not gonna work. Because like I said before, your mind don't know what's real and what's fake. So if you don't think you're cool, your mind don't give a fuck if it's real or fake. You don't think you're cool, and your mind is gonna prove that to you. Your body's gonna follow along with that. How do I know that? If you say you're not cool, when you get around cool people, guess what happens? You shrink, you get scared, right? Or cool people, we should say, you get scared. You start, oh, let me get away. Because you don't think you're that. But if you felt you were that, when you get around people like that, you would think they think you're that. The world is a mirror. What I feel about myself, you feel about me. To a certain extent. What I feel about myself, you feel about me. If I think I'm confident, you're probably gonna think I'm confident, or you're gonna know I'm confident and not like my confidence. And this is where you get haters, right? This is when you get people who project to you. So for example, if I think I'm the best in the world, either you're gonna think I'm the best in the world, or you're not gonna like the fact that I think I'm the best in the world, therefore you're gonna spread negativity to me. But you still think I'm the best in the world. You see what I'm saying? That's literally how reality works. Everything is a mirror. If I think I'm the richest man alive, either you're gonna believe I am, or you're not gonna like the fact that I think I am, meaning you still kind of believe it, that I think I am. You might need to rewind that. But you're not gonna like that, so therefore you're gonna project it because you don't like it. Everything is a mirror. You prove yourself to people. I feel like I genuinely brainwashed myself to not only like money, like success, like every single thing that makes me the best version of me. Wherever you're at right now, you might need to sit down. If you're working a 9 to 5, or if you just don't like your situation right now, you need to sit down and reanalyze yourself. I had to switch location. My camera is like acting up because it's getting hot as hell. When you hang around certain people, you act certain ways, right? You hang around your homie from 3rd grade, you might be a little bit more playful. You might crack a little bit more jokes, more funny jokes. When you hang around your new homie that you found while working your business, you know not to play those jokes. You know, okay, let's lock in. This nigga gonna think I'm weird. This nigga gonna think, oh, I'm not locked in, so I gotta get in this mode around this person, right? If you start hanging around Elon Musk right now, you know not to say some bullshit. You know not to say, do you goon? You know not to say that dumbass shit. You know not to say them brain rot shit. You know not to scroll on TikTok and be like, hey bro, watch this. You know not to do that. Because certain people and certain things is different vibrations. You have to stay in your vibration long enough for your reality to change. This is why when you get around people who are where you want to be, you end up being that because now you're in their vibration, right? So it's only up for you to go up to their vibration and stay there. Unless you just bullshitting, you know? If you just bullshitting, then you bullshitting. But you're in their vibration in those moments. When you hang around your parent, you dumb down a little bit more. You don't show yourself all the way. You ain't gonna pop your collar. You ain't gonna walk around like, yeah, like I'm that. You don't do that because it's respect around. You grew up having respect. So in a way, you grew up with your parents being above you. That's almost everybody. That's kind of like, you know, because we respect our parents. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't gonna act that way. But that's just to show you how you have different vibrations in different places. Now, who do you want to be? Now, when you understand who you want to be, go to that vibration. Who do you want to be when you're around your parents, when you're around certain friends, when you're around friends that don't even align to you? Who do you want to be? You have to align to that version of you. And this is why I'm so heavy into closing your eyes and imagining yourself. Because when you do that, like I say, you're training your body to be that person. When you open your eyes, you already feel like that person. So now you know. It's not even that you know not to do certain things, you just don't do it because it's not in your brain. What's in your brain is what you just thought about. So you're just aligned to that, and you're just going at it. You know, I can give another example. If you're struggling with an addiction right now, you just feel like you're the type of person that struggles with an addiction. So therefore your whole body feels that. Your whole mind feels that. So therefore you're just gonna keep doing it over and over and over until you can see yourself as somebody who doesn't do that. How you gonna do that if you can't drop it? Close your eyes. Imagine it. Look at you with your addiction and be like, ew, that's disgusting. Look at you with your addiction and be like, nah, I'm gonna do something else right now. Ah, that's boring. I don't even like that no more. Ah, that shit ass. That's how you gotta start seeing yourself. And slowly but surely, your body understand that, your mind understand that, because everything is energy. Emotion stands for energy and motion. This is literally what I used and learned to get to this point in my life. And I'm still using. 2 hours ago, I just woke up. Visualize, meditate. I was in my world. I was already there. Making this video right here was inevitable. It was who I was being right when I woke up. After I did that meditation and all that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be my best self. Visualize my best self. What does he do? Get up, get to it. Eat healthy, had a smoothie this morning. I was already being that version of myself. This video is just a part of it. It's like, okay, I'm just setting up the camera real quick. It's just part of me. Like it's like I'm just playing the tape. This is what comes with me. All right, if you're a basketball player, what comes with you is going to eat healthy, working out, watching film. This is a part of it. It's not something you have to think about. I didn't have to think about making this video. In fact, I wasn't gonna make this video. It just popped up in my mind. Dead ass. I was over there. I was sitting over there, gazing, getting some sun. I'm like, man, I'm gonna film a video. What video? I just thought of one. Boom, set up the camera, started talking. It's just part of my tape. It's not something I thought about. I was, I gotta do this today. Oh, no, it's part of my tape. And after this, I'm gonna just go edit it and post it. It's part of my tape, right? Just like after this, I'm gonna go work on a little bit of my business, make some bands. It's part of my tape. I don't have to procrastinate. It's just part of me. I've already seen it inside. I've already seen it do well. I've already seen it be successful. It's already exciting to me. Procrastination is so hard. It's hard for me to procrastinate. Like, I know it's gonna sound corny and all that. It's hard for me to procrastinate. Why the hell would I procrastinate with what I'm procrastinating on is already gonna be successful? I've already seen it be successful, so why the fuck would I procrastinate? A lot of time you procrastinate because, like I said before, your goal and you aren't aligned. You see your goal as separate from you. You might see it as negative from you. So how the fuck you expect it to work? If you start seeing that goal right now as positive, as fun, as amazing, bro, the goal is nothing. That shit becomes fun. It becomes, okay, let's go get it. You jog into it. You ain't even speeding up. You just like, man, in fact, you're not running to it. It's running to you. Cause you just gonna start doing things. Okay, I wanna be successful. I wanna start a business. Shit, you just start randomly. I'll just start a business on YouTube. Then some random shit pop up. I'm finna just start that. Next thing you know, you find somebody that does that thing. Now he talking to you, giving you more sauce. You like, damn. Next thing you know, a month from now, you done started the business. You up 5K. It's effortless when you're aligned to it. If you're not aligned to it, this is where you have problems. Because in your mind, you're saying you want it, but in your body, in your whole being, there's a negative emotion to it. Energy and emotion. Everything is energy. We have to start understanding that. When you raise yourself to being the best version of you, when you raise yourself to being the version of you that you want to be, whatever goal, everything shifts in your reality in that way. Just like when you say, I want this car, and you start seeing it every day, you have tapped into that energy. So now you're gonna see the car everywhere. You're like, man, that's my favorite color. Now you start seeing it everywhere, right? Why is that? Because you're in that vibration. That's where you're at now. That's the energy that you're in. You have to do the same thing, not just for a car, not just for your favorite color, but for your whole life, for your whole dream, for the girl you want. Everything you have to, for the friends you want, you have to start feeling that way. How do you want your friends to treat you? How do you want to be around your friend? Close your eyes and imagine it. When you open your eyes and your friend's not acting that way, you're gonna be like, man, what y'all, bro? That's not me. It's just not fun. Like, it's disgusting. But then when you meet somebody that's acting that way, which they are, because you have tapped into that energy, you're gonna meet somebody like that. It's just like, damn, that's familiar right there. Let's go. You're programmed to think that way. And that's literally exactly what I used to get to this exact level in my life. Everything that I see, everything that I am, everything that comes to me, I was already it. I didn't have to change. How the fuck do you want $100 million, but you don't think you can make $100 million? When you make $100 million, you're gonna lose it, the lottery. We see this all the time. Why do you think people lose the money that they made from the lottery? You were never it. You were still broke, but you wanted $100 million. You got the $100 million, but you're not it at the core, so therefore you're not even gonna know how to manage the $100 million. You might get scammed, somebody might come in. Everything is energy. So in a way, you don't know how you're gonna lose that $100 million, but I promise you will if you're not it. Because everything is energy. That $100 million is energy. And if you don't hold the $100 million energy, it's gonna spread away because it can't be around you. It repels. You gotta get familiar with what we want internally. If you want to be the coolest person in the earth, start feeling like it. Start visualizing yourself being that person. Start visualizing people talking to you that way. I have done this over and over, y'all. This is not bullshit. This is literally what I do. You do it all the time. You just don't notice it. Just like I'm saying it in a positive way, you're doing it in a negative way. You wake up every day, I don't know, man, this is gonna be hard. Like, I don't know, like, is this person is just gonna do this? Everything, you have done it. You are manifesting it. You are being that person. When you say, oh my God, I don't know if he's gonna like me. I don't know, this person gonna do me dirty, and then it happens. You were being it. You created it. That's who you were being in this moment. Therefore, it's gonna happen. It's gonna proceed. Everything is internal. Kingdom of heaven is within. For everybody that's in religion, the kingdom of heaven is within. What does that mean? The kingdom of heaven is within. Everything is within. It's not out here. Y'all tend to look out here and be like, oh my God, my life, it's in here. It started here to be out here. This jacket right here, somebody started in here and now it's out here. They created in their head and then it's out here now. Everything is within. The hat, where was it made from? Internally. Then it came out. Just like you. Why the fuck you broke? It ain't got to do with your job. It's internally. It's how you think. It's who you're being. If you switch and be like, man, from now on, I'm the richest nigga alive. I'm like, you live that life. You don't just say you live that life. You will start getting ideas within and being like, nah, this don't align. How many of y'all have ever said something like, man, I'm done doing something. And there's somebody around who doesn't come around and you like, bro, watch out, bro. It's like you feel disgusting because within you have shifted. Meaning that anything to do with that old thing, you can't be around it no more. You have shifted within. It's all within, yo. You have to become the best version of yourself. You know you do. You know it internally, you have to. Start closing your eyes and seeing the success, seeing you being that version of yourself. Seeing it go well instead of going back. Start seeing it go well. Cut everything off that don't have to do with that energy and watch everything change. I've done it. You could do it too. At the end of this video, I want everybody to go in the description down below and say, I am this. Don't write your present moment, because your present moment is really gonna be your future moment. You know, your reality is just past history of your thoughts. Your reality is just the history of your thoughts. So if you want something new in this present moment, you have to start thinking new. So I want all y'all in the comments down below to go write down, I am this, in the comments down below. Write down who you are, write down how your life is. I don't give a fuck if it's a paragraph. Write it down. What do you do when you wake up? What do you do in the middle of the day? You know, who do you hang out with? How much money do you make per month? Whatever it is, write it down. Become the best version of yourself. Right? You have to. Ain't no maybe. You have to right now. After watching this video, this is a shift. This is the change. From now on, you're that version. Everything else that has to do that, cut it off. You know what it is. Your body knows. Cut it off. It's done after watching this video. It's over.